Hey there, I'm Mr. Know-It-All, the lead swing trading analyst trader at Swing Trade Pros, the #1 swing trading and bot community in the world. And I genuinely want to help you make your mark in the thrilling world of swing trading cryptocurrency. I've been trading since 2017 and I've taught myself many different trading strategies, patterns. I'm known for the falling wedge pattern, as you guys might know. I've dedicated my life to mastering these types of structures and patterns, and now my goal is to impact the lives of 1 million of you. You heard that right. My goal is to impact 1 million people this bull cycle. Let that be you. Cryptocurrency markets can be a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs. But through swing trading, I've discovered a strategy that can truly make a difference. I've poured countless hours to studying the intricacies of wedge patterns, rising wedge patterns, you name it, and it has become my area of expertise. Here's the thing. I genuinely want to see you thrive in this market. That's why I've made it my mission to impact 1 million of you. I want to provide you with the tools, insight, and support you need to navigate this exciting but challenging landscape. Swing trading is not just about technical analysis. It's about understanding market psychology and developing disciplined risk management strategies. I'll be there to guide you step by step as we identify different types of patterns and structures and seize profitable opportunities. Together, we'll build your confidence in trading skills, ensuring you're well prepared to face the twists and turns of swing trading. Believe me when I say that I genuinely care about your success. That's why I'm inviting you to join me, Mr. Know-It-All, on this transformative journey. Let's make the most of this bull cycle and work towards your financial freedom together. You'll find all my links in my bio. Reach out and let's dive into this world of swing trading. I'm here to support you and your family and guide you every step of the way because your success matters to me. Together, let's make a real impact and achieve trading success.
All right, it's good to have everybody back. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. The weather was kind of crummy here, but maybe where you are, it was a beautiful weekend. All right, let's get some tunes on here. Got the weekly candle close happening in about 3 seconds. So the weekly candle getting a bit of a wick here going into the close. This bullish engulfing candle is still active here at 26,249. As long as we don't take that candle out, I would say we remain in the middle of the range here. And it does look like we are starting to attempt at some higher lows, so that's good. Bitcoin is holding up the market as per usual. We have a low, a higher low, and a third higher low. One could proclaim this as a potential for a 3 rising valley type of situation. We'd like to see some follow through price action. We would like to see Bitcoin break 28.2. That's this level here. If we fail to break higher and we start breaking these supports, well, we have our major support level down here at 25,200, as that is a major level. For the moment, we're stuck in the middle of the range, and that is where we're at. In terms of the shorter time scales, the daily chart, daily stochastics are starting to tick back up. We didn't get a confirmed buy signal yet until we crossed the 20 line. So like I said, we're in the middle of the range. We're also in the middle of the RSI. We're sitting technically bullish on the daily chart with volume kind of receding here. So could be proceeding some sort of move to test the top of these ranges if buyers can continue to hold this price. If buyers continue to not hold this price again, well, we're going to probably go test 26.7K and this low right here around 26.2. If we manage to break 26.2, we will go look at 25.2K. I will look at the dollar here in just 1 second. The dollar is down 0.11%. It is trying to pivot and hold 105.64 on the daily time frame. The weekly chart is making closure. We did have a weekly engulfing candle. However, we did not take out this high. That is a very important thing to look at, as that this candle up here is still active as a potential reversal candle. If we do start making weekly candle closures above this 107.38, we can talk about higher levels for the dollar. And it really is that simple. We would need to see a close above this level, all right, for a continuation on the dollar. If we go to the monthly chart, I'm sure the monthly looks still pretty strong. It does. We have 2 more weeks left of price action left here, but again, if we close this monthly candle as a red candle, we would be looking at a retest of the 105 level, which we never actually tested just yet. We tested 105.5. You can see this wick here. Again, we need some more information to really know where this dollar is headed. All right. But it is clear that it did break out of this parallel channel or wedge pattern, whatever you want to call this. It is holding above these levels for now. All right. The 2-day chart, again, last couple days of price action, putting in a bullish engulfing candle and getting close to testing this resistance at 107.09. Okay. And that is the level we're looking at here. If we do get candle closes above this on a daily or 2-day close, that we could see continuation on the dollar. If not, we would be looking at something like a potential double top. All right. So that is yet to be confirmed. All right. So something to pay attention to for sure. And on our oscillators here on the 2-day, we're looking 64, which is still in the bullish control zone on the 2-day chart, and it is looking poised for continuation, right? So what could happen is, like I said before, we could come up to test this 107.36 region, which is this top that we put in here. And if we get closes above it, well, we're going to see the dollar continue to go up. And the weekly chart, we started triggering these squeezes here. Usually we start triggering these towards some sort of top, but that doesn't mean we cannot push higher. By any means, we could see the dollar continue to go up, especially with what's going on overseas. All right, so again, the top of the Gaussian channel here. Yes, we're looking at the dollar Arashi. And the top of the Gaussian channel, the top of the Bollinger Band here is confluent with that 107.36 region. We'd be looking at that level right here, and that is still an active level to be looking at as long as the dollar continues to push up. All right. So that's it. The dollar right now looks like it's kind of going sideways for the moment here on the 4-hour chart is implying maybe a movement down on the 4-hour. All right, we've kind of made a lower high here at the top of the Gaussian channel. We could come back down to retest, this level here, 105.9 or something. Okay, that's what it's looking like right now. All right, so far it's putting in a lower high on the shorter time scales. Doesn't mean much until we really see out the week here. Okay. So we get above this 107 region, you can talk about a higher for the dollar. That's it. All right, so Bitcoin opening up 0.7%, so basically flat on the day. We just started the day 5 minutes ago. We have some resistance levels we talked about here, 27.5 being a level to get back above to see if we can trade back up to the top of this range. And if we get back above 28.5, we can talk about 28K and then 28.5. And if we start taking out 28.5, we can start looking at 29.3. Right. That's it. But it is a fact that we've made a higher low. We will see if we get follow through price action on this. If we don't, and we end up rolling over here, then we'll retest this low. Simple as that. Okay. And we'll look at the NASDAQ and the S&P. S&P up 0.2%. My data is a little delayed, but S&P last week technically closed a bullish engulfing with a long-legged wick, which means there was a lot of selling going into this movement up. Okay. And we're at a major level of resistance right here. You can see this is marked off on my chart as a major level. It was previously used as a support to catalyze this movement up. It would make some sense if the S&P went to go test this trend line here, okay? And we'll see if we get that action. All right, the NASDAQ looking a little bit better than the S&P, as it did come up to test its trend line and pulled significantly back right here, but did make a higher low. So we'll see if the NASDAQ can consolidate here and build up some more momentum to try to test this resistance again. If not, we are looking at a range low back to 14,725, this area right here where it rallied off of. Right, this double bottom kind of played out pretty much to the T. So that's really it for the NASDAQ. The daily oscillator is kind of pointing to ticking down right now. We'll have to see if we get follow through price action to the downside here. That's what we're looking at. In terms of where we're at on the daily wave, we just crossed bullish territory. We're not in overbought territory by any means. So we could consolidate here. We could go sideways for a bit. And that's what the NASDAQ is looking like right now. ETH not looking too hot, to be honest with you guys. It's sitting on a major horizontal support right now. It tried to rally here and failed. It even came back all the way down to this level here where it tried to rally. Bitcoin looking a lot better than Ethereum right now. And that's really all I got to say about ETH right now. We've got a confirmed trend line break. It is sitting at a major horizontal support right now. The only thing is if Bitcoin does decide to rally, that this will probably catch a bid. And that's it. So your next real major level of resistance, if we do rally up here, is 1650. And if we break 1650, we're looking at 1750 for your upside targets. And for your downside, if we end up breaking down, I'm looking at 1430 and down to this wick low here at 1375, this Fibonacci level right here. But again, we broke a major trend line here, all right? So not really a good look for ETH by any means. And yeah, so I had this plotted, this weekly head and shoulders type of structure on the RSI. You could see the left shoulder, the head and the right shoulder. We broke below the bullish control zone. We even back tested it as resistance and came down to about 41, so neutral. It's trying to put in a higher low on the RSI. We'll see what happens here, but it doesn't really look too good right this very moment. All right. But like I said before, Bitcoin is holding this market up right now. So this is a Bitcoin show, not an altcoin show. And we know that by looking at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance putting in an inverse head and shoulders structure here. Coming up to that 51.6% region, that is your resistance right now in Bitcoin dominance. As Bitcoin dominance goes up, altcoins bleed to Bitcoin in terms of performance. As you guys might know, this is a major descending triangle, and we broke out of this range here back in May with this rally through, and we got a pullback right at the resistance level here, and we made a higher low and started pivoting. All right, so Bitcoin dominance still looking really strong here on the monthly time scale. Looks like a major cup and handle type of structure. All right, we'll probably see continuation on it, most likely, at least for the time being. So the monthly wave trend here, getting a little bit, it's not extended, but in the middle of the bullish wave trend area here. The last time we were this high was, or close to this high, was January of 2020, which is when we started our last, or close to our last bull market. Obviously, we had the COVID drop in March, but after that, we saw Bitcoin take off. So it could be a couple months away from that. If this chart is indicating anything similar to what we did in the past, right? Past results are not indicative of future results, right? So we'll have to see how this goes. Let's take a look at Tether dominance, as that does lead what crypto does, although the US dollar is indicative of where Tether dominance goes, but some past couple of days, Tether dominance has been doing different things. But anyways, weekly time frame, a weekly bullish engulfing candle printed. We are below this major level of resistance, this 8.16 level. We are looking and watching this level pretty intently. We made another higher low and started pivoting here. And that is why we were seeing Bitcoin kind of pull back and the rest of the market pull back. We broke this trend line here. We broke out of it, and we did reject this level right here, this 8.16. We did wick a little bit above it, but pretty much came right back below it. So we can definitely see this as a regarded resistance for now. And, you know, Tether dominance could come back down to that 7.93 region, which would probably send Bitcoin to that 28,000 to 28,500 level, which would be in line with what we were just talking about towards those tops of ranges. Okay. And that's if the dollar continues to pull back and doesn't break above that 107 region, which could very well happen. We did print a weekly bullish engulfing candle last week, but we didn't take out that high. So that is what I'm watching right now. And I appreciate the 6 people on the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure you guys smash up the like button. I assume the 6 people that are watching me have been subscribed to the channel, so I appreciate your guys' viewership and subscription to the channel. All right, so we've covered pretty much across the market here. We're going to look at gold. Gold putting in a nice candle last week. A daily massive bullish engulfing candle to break this downtrend that it was in. The weekly bullish, huge bullish engulfing candle, and you know it would make sense for us to back test this region after this candle like this. You know, this level right here, this 1914 region, get retested. As long as we don't take out this candle, this is, I would say this is a real breakout for gold, especially with what's happening overseas. Everyone's flighting to gold and to the dollar. And the weekly candle here telling us we could see some continuation on gold. All right. And so your next levels to watch here for gold, if we can stay above this 1915 region, is to test 1979. And if we break 1979, our next targets are the top of the range, this 2000 to 2025 region. And if we end up breaking that, well, there is nothing up here, so it can go. And the weekly stochastics are kind of coiled up down here. Gold looking like a major buy on the weekly time scale. Last time we had a weekly stochastic cross was in March of 23, and we saw gold do something like this, go up 15%. All right. So holding a range low, a horizontal range low, putting in a weekly huge bullish engulfing candle. Looks like it might be time for gold to make its move. All right, and then silver. Take a look at silver, also putting in a nice candle. All right, so silver also holding its major trend line here in a major downsloping consolidation structure for many, many years. Last week also putting in a weekly engulfing candle. Didn't quite get above this 22.89 region that we were looking at last week. I said if we were to take a long on silver down here, you know, to look to take profit into these resistance zones, and that would have worked out quite well for you last week. So, but silver, we're looking to reclaim this 22.89 level and to break this downtrend, right? Because we can clearly see that this is a level here that it's got to break, all right? But you're kind of running out of room on this pattern, right? You got some empty space here. You could consolidate for a bit. You could retest this level, this 22.35 region. But you're making some higher lows, so you got some price compression happening on the weekly time frame. All right, so if gold moves up, I suspect silver will probably move up with it. Also, with the weekly stochastics showing you that there's some divergence happening on this chart. And the RSI sitting basically neutral or close to bullish, 47 on the RSI. All right. So silver also not looking too bad. Cool. Silver, gold covered, S&P, NASDAQ covered, dollar covered. Please throw me some of your assets in the chat. We were talking about band a couple weeks ago in a major falling wedge pattern that it broke out today. Had a 40% move out of the wedge. Look at this candle, big breakout here for band protocol. So shout out to those folks in the alert service that took this trade. We gave an entry on that $1.14 region. We thought it was going to break out here. It back tested one more time before rallying and getting above this range. So you can scroll back. TRB did crazy stuff, yes. TRB broke out of a major structure as well. I think we spoke about this one, major falling wedge pattern. Right at the median trend line here of this major structure, I do suspect this to potentially pull back. We'll take a look at flow. I think it did actually very quietly break out of its wedge. We'll take a look at it. All right, so yeah, TRB probably extended here on the weekly, definitely extended. Overbought on the weekly chart. It's not where you want to buy an asset. Right, all the way up here on the wave trend. A pullback to, $30 wouldn't be out of the question, really. I mean, it could complete its complete wedge pattern move, which would be up to $155 in time, but we would probably see 30 or 40% pullbacks along the way. As long as it continues to make higher lows and higher highs, it will remain in this uptrend. Okay. So yeah, TRB looking pretty good on this chart for sure. Take a look at core. Core was asked. Is that C-Vault Finance, man? Is that what this one is? I don't know what core you're talking about here, but I'll wait for your response on that. We'll look at flow while we wait. Flow printing a weekly hammer candle. Do you guys see that real quiet down here? This is a hammer candle, no wick on the top, retested the low. This is very, very interesting down here. It looks like a double bottom on the weekly time frame. We would like to see continued price action on this. If we could get it, a break above the neckline here at 47 cents would probably send this price much higher. 13% measured move once you break above 47 cents. That takes you to right about this 53-cent region. And as you know, this asset went straight down. It's looking pretty good after this retest, okay? It is definitely out of the wedge pattern. We had a weekly candle close here. Hammer candle, that is usually indicative of continuation to the upside. All right, let's pay it. We will be paying attention to flow this week for that reversal, okay? Cool. Interesting development on this chart for sure. Corium. Okay, so that's this one. All right, so you have a weekly, I would call it a doji candle. And yeah, you held the bottom here. And yeah, you're in some major falling wedge type structure. This is a high volume candle that came in last week. Highest volume you've ever seen on this asset. Could be an area. Could be an area. Right, your weekly is sitting below 45 on the weekly RSI. in the buy zone. All right. Don't really know too much about this asset. You're still in the bounds of this falling wedge pattern in development. You're in the middle of two Fibonacci levels here. If you plot from this range high to this range low, where you got a nice rally off of. Your 2-day time frame here diverging a bit. You're at the bottom or near the bottom of the 2-day wave trend bottom, so probably not a bad area to accumulate this asset. Don't really know what it does. Do your own research, of course. But yeah, you got to get back above this 7.7 cent region or 8 cent region, I would say, and start making higher lows here and really build up some momentum to try to break this trend line. Okay. If you can do that, you could probably see 14 cents pretty quick because this asset came straight down. All right. That's all I got on this one. I don't really have much other data on it, so. EGLD looking pretty interesting right here. A nice little wedge structure basing out right here on this 2320 region. Looking poised for some upside here. You can see on the wave trend putting in this higher low, still, towards the green areas of the chart, meaning it's still a buy down here. Hasn't broke out just yet. We're looking at a $30 area for a break on this trend line. And I would say your target would be around that $100 region, which would be the top of this structure. Very possible and plausible for something like this to happen, especially when this asset's been downtrending for quite some time. You have tail end weekly bullish divergence on the RSI, looking very strong here for a reversal. Okay, pay attention to EGLD. This is definitely in the buy zone on the weekly. Look where we're at. This is where reversals can occur. So you have some cryptos that are in nice setups here. This is one of them. You got to get back above this $30 level. This is a weekly resistance. You get back above that and retest it as support, you could really see this rally. Okay. IMX putting in some nice price action right here. We had a wedge break like not too long ago, and just kind of back testing this area right now, just kind of skating along this trend line, and now breaking out of the trend line again. Okay, get back above this 58 cent region, and we can talk about a higher part of the range here at 68 to 70 cents. Kuji been ripping. Okay, we'll take a look at it. Origin Trail, we'll take a look at that. Yep, sitting on a daily support. Definitely looking interesting there. Holding that level pretty good. All right, buy at support, sell at resistance, guys. You got a major trend line here on Track Origin Trail. I know nothing about this coin, by the way, so don't ask me what it does. I'm just looking at the technicals of the asset. Remember that. So maybe some sort of descending triangle type of formation here with your downsloping trend line. You got to break that trend line if you really want to see this thing go. You're at a daily level here. You've tested this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and buyers are holding the price up down here. So the top of your range here on track would be coming in contact with this trend line here at 25 cents. If you break it, you're looking at 27 cents. You're really looking to get above 27 cents with volume to break this trend line, okay? And yeah, your weekly still kind of pointing down, but definitely at the lows of October of 22 here. Obviously closer to this green zone than you are the red zone. Do your own research. The weekly, though, not really telling us anything good in terms of momentum. Momentum is crossed down here. 2-day chart might be ticking up because we got some support that we're holding on the daily and the 2-day. So we could go sideways here for a bit. When that weekly stochastics reset, we could be looking at a move back up to the top of this range. Okay. Kuji, we'll take a look at it. Kujira, I've never heard of this one, but yeah, it's putting in a 2-day bullish engulfing, very close to this neckline here at $1. If you break $1, this is kind of straight down. So maybe you could see this test back up to the top of its range. You got some resistance right here around 110 and a little bit of resistance here at 134. So you got a couple levels in between here that you could get stuck at. But yeah, I mean, you are making higher lows. We'll take a look at Matic. I do have a spot position on Matic, so we will definitely take a look at that. All right. So Matic rejecting the trend line. We'll take a look at AVAX. I did buy some more AVAX today, around $9.15. Matic holding support. Still closer to the bottom of the range than the top of this range. I still think it's in a nice accumulation type of structure as I've drawn here. It looks very similar to what it did last cycle. Does it mean it's going to copy it exactly? No. Can we get one more low? Sure. Right? The weekly candle probably did not print something very nice. In fact, it basically printed, it almost engulfed. We had a little bit of buying coming in right down here at this bottom, but we'll see what kind of price action we get this week. We got a trend line rejection. My entry is around 56, 57 cents. Not really worried about it. Even if it does drop down here at 38, I'll just be holding it. All right. That's really it for Matic. We're still down here at this bottom in the buy zone on the weekly chart. So as long as we remain down here, I will be continuing to buy this asset. I'm looking at weekly time frames. I'm not looking at dailies or 2 days. I'm looking at weekly charts for my accumulation. Okay. Avalanche. I'm currently on the C chain. I guess it really depends if you want to stake it or however you want to go about doing that. You could probably Google it, or there's definitely public information out there on what to do with that. So Avalanche, we did get a test of that trend line last week, and we rejected that $12 range, which is that confluent with that trend line. Hence why I started buying more down here again at $9. It looks like that area is acting as a support after it got rejected here. I'm going to continue to buy at this level as long as it's supported. And if we end up breaking this level, well, I'll be looking for the next level to buy. I will be accumulating Matic and AVAX this cycle, as I do think that they will see some nice growth in the longer term. All right, so daily got extended, got rejected, and we bounced off this $41 range, or $41 level on the RSI. So we bounced off neutral territory and holding support here. Very good. Holding support is a good thing. And we do have some 12-hour bullish divergence forming here on the chart. All right, we have a low and a higher low with a low in roughly the same low on price. So there is a bit of divergence there. You can see the wave trend kind of ticking down here, but closer to this buy zone than it is the sell zone. And you can see here when this topped out, where was this on the wave trend? It was at the top, rejecting resistance. Yes, you can swap on the chains for sure. Yep. So yeah, once again, holding this range low, putting in some nice bottoming wicks here, holding this level. We'll see if buyers can sustain here and hold these supports. Really all it comes down to what Bitcoin's going to do. And Bitcoin looks like it might try to test 28K or 27.5. If that happens, then Avalanche will probably tick back up along with the rest of the market. I am in accumulation mode. Like I said before, I plan on bag holding for the next year or two. on a lot of these assets. They will bottom out somewhere. I don't know if this is the bottom for AVAX. We might make one more low, one more capitulation low. Totally possible if Bitcoin goes back down to 17, 18K. Just got to be in this stuff for the long term, guys. Some long-term thinking on it, right? If we get a 50% drop and it ends up breaking out of this, like let's just say it does something like this, and we get a capitulation and we bottom out here and then we rally out of this wedge, right? We could be looking at a $40 target in time. So it won't really matter if we see 50% downside, because we'll be able to see some major rally off that low longer term. All right. I'm not here to pick bottoms. I'm just buying at levels. And an asset that's already down, 94% from its all-time high, I would say it's probably time to start buying it. Not financial advice, do your own research. You guys know the drill. But this is kind of my long-term swing strategy, okay? And when RSIs are down here in this red zone, this is time to buy. When it's up here in these green zones, time to de-risk. Right? We had the bearish divergence here on the weekly, and we had the bullish divergence here on the weekly, right? So that to me spells we could see some sort of reversal. We did try last week, right? It went up to 12 bucks. Made a pretty significant move off that low, right? So, and we're still here. We're still here at 33 on the RSI. We didn't see this go overbought. We didn't see it make bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. We could be in this trade for a while, guys. All right. And just remember where you're at on the weekly wave trend. You're all the way down here at the bottom. You made a lower low than this July low, which was a capitulation low. That was also a good time to buy AVAX right here at 16 bucks. So we got even a better entry. My average entry on Avalanche here is $10, guys. That is my average entry right now on Avalanche. So yeah, my position's down 8%. Okay. I plan on to keep accumulating. If we see $7, I'm going to be buying more. If we see $5, I'm going to be buying more. At some point, this is going to reverse its trend. Okay. It may not go into a full-on uptrend like it did last cycle. It may not repeat the same pattern, but it might do something similar. Because this is a major layer 1 blockchain, right? Like a lot of these other blockchains that I've been buying, right? One that I will say that has been definitely underperforming is Polkadot and Flow. A lot of these are really wrecked. But my average entry here on DOT is something like $5. So yeah, but I'm staked and I'm accumulating more DOT. And DOT can maybe go down to $3 or even go back down to the 100% retracement level at $2. I'd probably consider buying more if we end up breaking these ranges, okay? Flow is nuked, yeah. I'm also down on Flow. My average entry on Flow is 81 cents. But it's not going to matter once we see Flow break out of this wedge. Look how, I mean, dudes, look at the divergence. Like, it's all definitely nuked on the chart and telling you that we could be reversing the price action here. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. We started buying Flow at $1.80, and we bought it all the way down. I have buys in the 40 range. That's how I was able to get my average entry down, okay? Just got to be patient. Lots of patience required in these markets, guys, all right? Yeah, we just looked at DOT. So DOT oversold on the weekly chart. Probably in the buy zone here, okay? Just saying. Not your best performing asset, but I think with their new DOT 2.0 launch here at the end of October, we could see something change in their mechanics of their tokenomics and how they're deploying into their parachains and onboarding new liquidity into the market. We'll see how that goes. LTC and Filecoin, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at them. So Litecoin, am I buying any SOL? No, I haven't started really buying any SOL. Litecoin looks like shit. Look what it did. It broke a long-term trend line here. I don't know, man. Litecoin, could you be at a range low here? You're making a higher low than these lows, that's true, but you know, I would say that this looks like a bear flag, man. Doesn't look very good on the weekly time frame. Your RSI is sitting 36, no divergence. Nothing really screaming to buy it right here, aside from you're sitting at a 2-day support. You know, anything below 68 bucks, I don't think it's looking very good, right? Breaking that long-term channel is not a good look for Litecoin by any means. So I don't have better news for you. That doesn't look very good. Filecoin. Filecoin. We're gonna have this charted. Okay. Filecoin definitely at the depths of what could be a bottom. Just riding along the major support levels here. Technically started making closures outside the trend line, but no follow through price action on that. You want to see volume on a break, man. No volume on this. It is outside the trend line. Maybe we'll consolidate and see a movement here. The daily stochastics are pointing up. The 2-day might be holding this bullish control zone. 16-hour ticked up, 12-hour ticked up, daily ticking up. So maybe, just maybe, we see some movement here on Filecoin in the coming days. You got to break above this 345 level if you want to see that 430 level be tested, right? You got a range right here that's pretty tight range you're in here on Filecoin, but you break it, you could be looking at $4.33 in time. That's it. One could definitely strategize taking a swing trade down here on Filecoin. It's very easy to manage your risk down here, right? Clearly see these wick lows. One could take a trade here and set a stop below these wicks, 290, or even as low as 270 if you really want to give it room. I would say to give it room if you're going to take a trade on it. But yeah, Filecoin looks like it might be ready to do something, potentially. The weekly time frame, the wave trend, yes, in the buy zone. The weekly stochastics haven't crossed above 20 yet, but man, you really got to see some positive price action come in this week for this thing to really take off. All right, big week here for a lot of these altcoins, man. Any Sol, we can look at Solana, guys. Yeah, Solana is a big one. I know. I haven't bought any of it this cycle. I traded it last cycle. Can see the higher lows being made on the ranges here, but you haven't gotten past this level here, right? So one could really draw a trend line right here. It's pretty clear you're in some sort of ascending triangle type of trend line, okay? And you made a lower high here, but you're holding this low. If you pivot and rally here and you break 28 bucks, there's a good chance you could get to this $34 to $50 range, all right? It is consolidating, yes. And you had a perfect back test to this $21 level. One could argue that this may be some sort of slanted inverse head and shoulders pattern here on the 4-hour chart. All right. If that breaks that neckline, you got a major level of resistance here at 2262. And you break above that, you're looking at this level here at 2366. And eventually to the top of your range here at 2440. But this, to me, I remember charting this. This was a wedge break, right? You broke this pattern, you back tested it, and you rallied. Beautiful, very nice structure here. And eventually, you could go back up to your swing target, which is 32 bucks or 31.89, which is your range high that you tried to break out of here. But yes, we are showing higher lows in accumulation in this structure. I will definitely agree with you. It looks good. Solana does look good. Okay, that's your Solana. And yep, on the weekly, you're crossing bullish here, so that's also looking good. All right, you would have wanted to maybe take an entry on the 18th here when you made this dip on the weekly wave. And yep, on the weekly RSI, you're sitting bullish, 50. Okay. I would say looks good, as opposed to some of these other assets that don't look as good. All right. Any other assets you guys want to look at tonight? Appreciate the viewership tonight. You guys are soaking all this up, I hope. I was going to look at XRP here for a minute. Sure, we'll look at BNT. So XRP still in the bounds of this structure, you know, holding a support by a thread. I don't really like it under 51 cents, but it's definitely holding this. It's holding this support level right here. Okay. That's it. It's just holding the range low for now. All right, BNT. Take a look at it. So it never broke the range high. It attempted to. I said last week that it's probably going to pull back, and it did. All right. And yeah, back tested 47 cents. See if you can get a pivot here, right? Because this was a back test, and this was an engulfing candle. We did not take this candle out. It is very possible that this can come back up to test the top of the range again this week, right? The weekly wave trend telling you that it crossed up. You're not overbought on the weekly chart. You're sitting 59, which is bullish. And yeah, man, you hold bullish territory for long enough. You get a weekly cross up here on your average sentiment oscillator. You could see another attempt at a break. You definitely see that. The daily kind of cupping out here. You got a major level of resistance above you here at 58 cents. If you can start breaking that and making candle closures above it, man, you are definitely going to see higher prices on this thing. All right. Your major level here, I would say, is between this wick high here at 80 up to about $1 in the middle of the channel, $1.15. You could see a double up in price on this thing if it really breaks, right? So that's it. Definitely a very, very distinct consolidation range. Attempting a rally here to break the range and kind of back testing that level right now, trying to hold support. Okay. LQTY, yep, that broke out of a wedge, I believe. It almost did. It's right at the cusp of a major breakout. If it can break this region here, this 187 region, you can see the top of the range, which is $3, double up. It is very extended on the daily chart. The daily wave trend here is overbought. The weekly, not so much. The weekly has room to run, so you could pull back here at the trend line, right? It would make sense for a pullback. Maybe a consolidation at like 149, even down to like 140, this level right here, right? You pull back, reset your daily oscillator, kind of consolidate again, and then get a break, okay? That's what I would see happening there if you get a bullish breakout. And yep, just watch your trend line. Just watch your major trend line here. That's it. Come down to the trend line, retest it as support. can rally off that support. But the daily is pretty extended, so I would expect some sort of retracement first. Go? Is that a ticker or something? Loom Network has been on a run, man. This thing is just ripping. No idea what this coin does. I'm pretty sure it's an OG coin. Wow, we tagged the 88.6 retracement level on this thing. Holy shit. What a breakout for this one. I did not trade this one. I don't even think I alerted this one. It's definitely a lower cap coin. But what a breakout. It's appreciated almost 1,200% in the last month. That is crazy. Wow. What a run for Loom. Another one I want to point out here is XVS. Okay, this one did break a major trend line. Pay attention to this one. It back tested it. It held it. The daily, you could see holding this range low here. A break above 552 we could easily see 650. You break 650, you're looking at $9. This is also something to pay attention to. It's just been consolidating in this range since May of 22. And the weekly wave trend just went bullish. Average sentiment oscillator went bullish. Pay attention to this one, okay? This one might make a move. So yeah, there's some coins that look good, some coins that don't look so good. Kind of a mixed bag for the altcoin market right now. Really all depends on how Bitcoin performs, really. You guys know that, so. But that's it. I am just long-term accumulating these assets that are the majors. Bitcoin, ETH, AVAX, Flow. You guys know what I'm holding. INJ, I'm still holding INJ. We did get a great entry on INJ for those that did take that swing trade with us last year. We got in at $1.60. Yep. Trade given August 5th, $1.60 entry. This is a beautiful ascending triangle up here. Last week it printed what looks to be a hammer candle right off the major demand line here. We'll see if we get some follow through on this. If it can really break 940, man, it's really looking good for 14 bucks if it can do that. All right. So this is a major that I've been holding. Definitely a hidden gem in this market. I'm really lucky that I was able to acquire it so low. So cheers to those people that also took this trade with me. You're part of the alert service. You guys are definitely benefiting from this one. All right. I'm not perfect, guys. I do my best to continue learning and seeing what's happening on charts. So I appreciate you guys continuing to support what I do here and tuning into the streams every Sunday. I know that we're in a really boring phase of this market. We could see another pullback on Bitcoin. That is definitely not out of the question, especially if the dollar continues to make its push. We're looking for that 107 level to be broken. If that happens, you guys know Bitcoin will probably not sustain a rally. That's it. That's what we're looking for this week. We're looking to see if the dollar is topping out here or if it's going to break this 107.37 region. I am of the opinion that it may not break it. Just saying. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have some 2-day bear div and you're really already entering overbought territory on the 2-day chart. We'll see though. It looks like it's trying to coil up again. I don't know. I wouldn't even really consider this a major pullback on the dollar. It would be a lot healthier for the dollar to do something like this, pivot here, and then go higher instead of just running right here. But bearish divergence in an uptrend usually underperforms, so I could be wrong. So we'll see how this goes. And the US 10-year is something to look at as well. We'll take a look at the US 10-year. US 10-year up 1%. Also breaking out of a major flag pattern here. I have this area marked off on the chart, this 5.13% region. If looking left, you can see this was a major top back here in 2007 and 2006. So that is a level that we're looking at here on the daily and the weekly chart. If we break that, well, rates are going much higher. Dollar's going much higher, higher for longer. Mr. J. Powell said that would be accurate if that happens. So we'll see how this goes. We have some deviations outside the weekly Bollinger Band here. This is a major deviation. We haven't got a major deviation like this since here, which was October of 22. So let's go back to see what happened October of 22 after that major deviation. We had a little bit more of a push up, and then it kind of just consolidated for a bit. But ultimately just continued higher, right? So we'll see what happens here this week in the markets. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. We'll catch you guys next week. And just stay patient, guys. Stay patient is all I will say. We have some weekly divergence that we're looking at here on the RSI on the 10-year. So definitely extended and overbought territory here as well. We have one more request, WLD, that is WorldCoin. Take a look at it. I don't really have too much data on this one. Is there an index chart on this? I don't think so. Not a lot of data on this one, man, so I'll do my best. All right, so broke a trend line, back tested as support, made a run. You know, holding a higher low right now on the daily. Volume receding. Maybe you're going to be setting up for a move back up to the top of the Bollinger Band, which is that 180 level. You break 180, you could be looking at the top of the range, which is 250 in time. Again, I don't have a lot of data on this coin, man, so not so much I can really go by. But something on this order, maybe. Yeah, it's not really enough data, but you can kind of get the picture that it's in maybe some sort of flag pattern. I'd say it looks good. Looks like it's probably going to continue up based on the daily chart anyway. And yep, the daily stochastics are pointing up. BLZ, let's take a look at it for Crypto Greg. How you doing, brother? I haven't heard from you in a while, man. See, I think I had this charted somewhere else. So BLZ. All right, so BLZ broke out of a major, I would call this an ascending triangle, right? So broke out of a major ascending triangle. It looks like it's put a local top in up here at this major level of resistance at 21 cents. Get our Fibonacci levels here. All right, so coming back down into this major support level, hopefully, you know, wicking down into this region. And yeah, so, you know, trying to attempt a rally here, right? Broke a trend line. you know, maybe some sort of wedge structure here on the 2-day chart. You got a little bit of daily bull dip and the daily stochastic kind of rounding out here. I would say a closure back above 12.6 cents could yield you back up to 13.3 and back into these trend lines I have drawn here. So let's just see how this plays out, right? The 4-hour looking pretty good, holding the trend line here. So you could definitely see some upside on this if it can test back up to 13 cents. That's the top of the range. Probably an area where you would look to take profit if you're in a short-term trade on it. All right. That's it. That's really it on this one. There's the weekly, you know, a bit extended on the weekly, you know, pulled back to neutral or 55, coming back down to the bullish control zone on the stochastic oscillator here. 2-day rounding out. So you could be consolidating here and rounding out for another movement. Might take some time, right? So yeah, this did break out of a major structure and it's just pulling back. And, you know, you could be looking ultimately at 8.5 cents, maybe. Breakout, back test, mega higher low than these lows, and pivot and rally again, right? Now this wedge here could be a short-term move up because you did break this level, but I'd be looking for a real break and back test here for a double bottom to really kind of get out of here if it's going to do that. So pay attention. Looks pretty strong in terms of what it's done here on the weekly time frame. All right. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Hopefully we have some good price action this week. We'll see. Really all depends on how the dollar does. If this thing is going to continue its movement up, which it very well could. It did break this trend, and it looks like it's going to back test it. And if it breaks back into the structure, you guys know what that means. That means the dollar is going higher, rates are going higher. And there is a metric that I use a lot that's really helpful, right? You want to really be buying risk assets when the dollar is so strong, right? You want to be getting out of risk assets when the dollar is weak. And the dollar is very strong right now. So I use this indicator here. It's called the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. And you can see right now, because the dollar, it takes the dollar divided by the US 10-year and comes up with a ratio. And you can see that we're at an extreme risk level, okay? And this is something I pay attention to a lot. How's Elephant looking? I am completely out of Elephant. I got out pretty much at the top of that move. It looks like it's back tested this the previous exploit area and is using it as support. So that's good. It's making a higher low and trying to pivot and rally here. XAU, yeah, we looked at gold. Yep, we looked at it. Looks strong. Yeah, the weekly is still telling me that it's got room for down. You know, you would want to be buying this, you know, towards the bullish areas on the weekly chart. That's why I got out of this asset because, man, I thought this was topped out and RSI, you could even see, was making bearish divergence. Same highs on price, same highs on the RSI, some divergence. Yes, you got a full reset on the weekly, bouncing off bullish control zone. You could consolidate here, but I think ultimately you probably come down to test the trend line, this 32.95 region, which is this long-term trend line, for maybe a cup continuation pattern. If all the fundamentals stay the same, you could see this maybe go higher, sure. But I rolled a lot of my my Elephant for Avalanche down here. I think it's a stronger play, longer term. I also bought some Matic. So that's it. Matic might continue down, right? It's putting in a red candle right now on the weekly. You could see Matic come down to 40 cents. Totally possible. Not out of the question. Again, guys, it's about accumulating at critical areas of the market and buying low and selling high. That's it. You know, buying down here at 57 cents is great. The all-time high was almost $3. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a very, very similar accumulation pattern that it's doing right now. We didn't get this break of this trend line, which we're looking for here, but when it does occur, you'll know what it's going to do after that, right? If it does end up breaking, right, it'll do something similar where it comes up to this major level of resistance and it pulls back and makes a higher low, and it pulls back and makes a higher low, and then it runs, right? And then it breaks out, and that'll be the top. That could take months, that could take a year, that could take 2 years. But just understand the schematic of what I've drawn here. It may not play out exactly like this, but there's lots of similarities I'm seeing on this schematic, okay? And yeah, I think Matic is a major layer too, and I think it's going to see a lot of liquidity come in eventually, right? Once Bitcoin starts rallying, I think we're going to see the altcoins rally afterwards. So it's time to look at altcoins when they're down this much. That's it, right? It's down 83%. So obviously it's a pretty good performing asset, even in a bear market. Its lowest price was here, which was 88%. So I'm not really buying too far off these lows, right? I would say this is one of the stronger altcoins to have in your portfolio, right? It's only corrected 84%, which is a lot, but a lot of these alts like DOT is down 98%, right? And Flow, well, yeah, this thing's absolutely destroyed. This thing's down fucking 99%. Okay? Not a very good performing asset. This is an NFT play, right? Kusama, another one that I've been buying, okay, is down 97%. HBAR, which I've been buying, is down 93%. All right, you guys get the point. Sand, which I've been buying, is down 96%. A lot of these are down 90+%. So Matic only being down 83% right now is stronger than the other altcoins, for sure. So those are the ones you'll probably want to be accumulating, right? I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play out, guys. I'm just looking at charts and taking bets on major layer ones and layer twos. That's it. I think that's the best play one could make. Obviously, owning Bitcoin is number one. You should definitely be owning Bitcoin because that is going to get the most adoption, hands down. Cool, guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream and appreciate what I'm doing here. I do my best to stay on top of these markets for you guys every week. I'm not going to be right every time. I just continue to learn and chart and have at it, man. I mean, what else? This is what I love to do, so I'm going to continue doing it. Whether I'm talking to 7 people or 700 people, it's going to be the same node here on the channel, all right? So thank you guys for joining. We'll catch you guys next week. If any of you guys are interested in joining me in the alert service, hit me up. I'll give you guys a free trial. I don't mind. It's not even about the money anymore. It's really just about helping people. So I appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful week, guys and girls.